Musa. Rocking these bad apples out the bunch, man. What's up, man? What's up,
Yo,
man?
we here, man. We here. We loving the energy out here, man. There's so many beautiful black people out here, man. Everywhere you go, there's beautiful black people. And so this is a prime example. When we come together, how the type of energy we can create. Shirts represent, so you know when you see Bad Apple soldiers, you know what it is.
Okay, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, you know how to film?
What's your name, bro?
Sutek.
Sutek. All right, family. We here with Brother Sutek, Brother Musa, Bad Apple up in the house, African Day Festival, July 4th, 2010. So we stand right here in front of Brother Sutek. We got some great products right here, some conscious information. We got some great conscious shirts over here.
To put our history and images on clothes so that when people see the images on the shirts, it sparks a conversation, it'll remind them of something, you know what I'm saying? Or to tell a story to them. Like we got shirts over there with Willie Lynch. If you don't know what Willie Lynch is about when you see the shirt, you may go home and Google it and then you'll learn something.
Well, the upliftment of our people is a continuous growth, you know. Since before I was born, the seed was planted, you know. I'm a product of great men like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, you know. I speak their quotes today. I talk about why it's important to have black business today, so I can pass it down on to my grandchildren's grandchildren, you know. These are the type of mentality that has been instilled in me, and it's my responsibility and your responsibility to encourage other black men, other black women, and children to have ownership, you know. Like Tulsa, Oklahoma, we had our own little Africa is what they called it.
Tell us about Tulsa, Oklahoma, bro.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In the early 1900s, a group of black businessmen had purchased a small piece of land in the northeast section of Tulsa. They called it Greenwood. As segregation practices had grown in white Tulsa, so had the black businesses in Greenwood.
We had 2 or 3 ambulances, yes. Ambulances which were operated by funeral homes.
By 1921, Tulsa's black population had grown to almost 11,000, and the Greenwood community was booming. 15 grocery stores, 2 black movie houses, 2 black newspapers, 4 drugstores, 2 black public schools, a black public library, 4 barbecue and chili parlors, and about 13 churches.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, we did have a little separate enclave where blacks had some measure of financial, social, political independence, maybe even some clout.
You had a whole group of black entrepreneurs who came together and formed a kind of union to help develop black business. There was always a hostile relationship between the black and white community, and part of it was because the Ku Klux Klan was located in an area just west of the black community itself on Main and Eastern. This was about 4 blocks west of where the primary black community was located.
He stood up and told the people, he said, there's going to be a destruction in Tulsa.
And that afternoon, the Tribune came out and said what had happened, and that they had arrested Dick Rowland, and it looks like there's going to be a lynching tonight. And of course, when the Negroes in the community saw that, they said, oh no, we're not going to have that. And they went down to the courthouse, and everybody was just standing around. Nobody said anything to one another. Finally, a little white man came up to Barry and said, "Nigger, "What you doing with that pistol?" He said, "I'm going to use it if I need to." He said, "No, no, you give it to me." And he tried to take it. And that scuffling set the riot off. On the Frisco Railroad track. But by being outnumbered, they had to leave. And of course, as they left, the white moved in. And as they moved in, they looted. And to hide their behavior pattern, they set fire to the building.
When T.R. woke me up, he said, "Rose," said, "we got to get up and leave here." Said they done started. And I didn't want to go. I balked on him. He had to kind of get rough with me before I would leave. But I did leave. And he told me not to bring nothing. He said, "Don't bring nothing." I just had on some barefoot sandals and a towel tied on my head, and that's the way I went. Because I was fussing and disgusted and scared too.
Us, my sister and my brother, under the bed. I remember the people coming in, white people coming into our house with torches, setting the curtains on fire and setting our house on fire. And one stepped on my finger while I was under the bed. And my sister put her hand over my mouth to keep me from screaming.
He was right. Long as we was out where they could see us, they didn't bother. But they were shooting from airplanes and everywhere.
Next thing that I remember was that we saw a railroad train with boxcars attached to it, and in at least 2 of those boxcars there were soldiers in uniform, and they were white soldiers.
And they was just like this with them shotguns. Just like this. And of course I just knew everybody gonna be killed myself.
Read that they came to kill us, and they said, "No, we came to help you." And they wanted to take the men and leave the women and children out there. I spoke up. I said, "No, we want to go with our husband. If you're going to kill them, kill us all together."
During the riot, black men had taken up arms to protect their families. Now they were charged with incitement, taken off to jail or the county fairgrounds, and tagged for identification.
I never shed a tear over them. In fact, I never have been angry. I felt sorry for the people that treated our folks like that.
More than 35 blocks of Black Tulsa was burned to the ground. Over 4,000 people were left homeless. Still, most of the people of Greenwood refused to leave.
Completely destroyed the black community. Blacks then set about to try to rebuild. They could not get building material to build back in Tulsa or the surrounding community. Most blacks had to import the bricks and steel that they rebuilt Tulsa back with, Black Tulsa back with, from out of Arkansas and Kansas.
My father had advised his clients and others to build with orange crates, build with anything, in order to have some shelter. But even so, we have pictures of the winter of 1921-22 of hundreds of tents in which blacks lived because they were not able to build their buildings. Tulsa. The people who visited here described Tulsa, Black Tulsa, as a town with grit, a town that was coming back.
Out of the ashes, the black people of Tulsa had rebuilt their community. But they needed only to glance across the tracks to be reminded that the racial attitudes of most white Tulsans had not changed.
I can remember the time when I would go downtown. I was lucky enough to have monies in my pocket. I would go in stores as to where I couldn't try on a hat. They'd let you know if you were there, you're the last one to be waited on. They'd let you know that they didn't want your business.
I can remember that you could go down to Cress's, and if you went down in the basement, you could stand up at a counter and get something to eat.
When I went over to the counter, I was told that I had to go to the end of the counter. And that's, you know, and you see all these places open and no one there. And you could only be served, and you could not sit in the seat.
The people.
It was high spirits in the community. Many droves of people came down to see the parade. Kids looked forward to it. We started at Old Booker T. Washington High School and marched to Carver, down Greenwood to Carver. And that's where the football games were played.
From Oklahoma, if they were in the music business or the film business or just in corporate America, period, it would be different for us.
Independent people who run galleries or whatever need to be aware. And so somebody, even the people who are doing something, I'm not aware of specific incidences. And I don't know how much we need to know about the past, but we do know, I know we all need to know about the past, but I think what's even more important is understanding what our social responsibilities are right now to each other. If we just look at where we're at and look at the disparities that are going on between poor and rich in the United States, and people who are made to understand how people are purposely left out of the system, I think a lot more people will come to the plate, those that have something, and try to bridge that gap.
Integrated system of beliefs, traditions, ideas, customs, products even, that constitute the life of a community, and that's the hip-hop
Got some money over here, let me get that.
What's up, y'all? Now, anything? No. You know, representing Bad Apple all day. Got the shirt right here. You know, supporting it and all that stuff. We on the Far Rockaway, whatever train this is. So far, we're headed off to Jamaica. Then we're gonna hit on the 83 and head back home. You know how I do.